Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We are here over Zoom. Delighted to be joined by world champion Lauren Price. Lauren, I know you've done a bit of media today. I know it's probably not your
My
favourite
last
thing
one,
to
to
do,
be
is
fair.
it? Oh, I'm your last one.
Yeah,
Save the best till last, then, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
something like that.
how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Obviously a bit frustrated on, I've only boxed once this year, so my main focus is getting out before the year ends. Would have loved for it to be in Cardiff, but it's in Liverpool, and that's just the way it is. So just looking forward to putting on a show, getting a win, getting ready for them big fights next year.
I know, obviously, last year you had 4 fights, and when you become a world champion, it sometimes becomes harder to make the fights. But how has it been kind of ticking over, waiting? I think it was May you won the world title, and now just important to get out before the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. That's with me as a fighter, I like to be active, and if it was down to me, I box 3 or 4 times a year. So yeah, winning the world titles, I thought, oh, bigger fights that come, it'll be easier. But if anything, it's harder, and I understand that now. Certain champions don't want to fight you, and yeah, it's a bit frustrating at times, but I believe time. Uh, I suppose time will tell, and there's a big fights out there for me next year, so that's obviously on my radar. But I've got a job to do on December 14th, and I believe I do it well, come through that, and then we can focus on the next thing.
Yeah, let's talk about the opponent in Betsy Mateus. How much do you know of her? Have you watched much of her? I know she's undefeated, and yeah, it is a good fight for your first defense, right?
Yeah, definitely. She's got a good record, 7 wins, 6 knockouts. She's game, she's tough, she's raw, but nothing which I haven't faced before. And I've just got to stick to what I'm good at, my skill, my speed, my boxing IQ, and I believe that I come through that fight in good fashion, and yeah, I get a win.
What are the big fights for you then? You mentioned kind of next year you really want to kick on. Who is on the hit list for 2025?
And I believe I'm in my prime. And yeah, I've had 7 pro fights, but I'm Olympic champion. I've come across all different styles, and people question me over McCaskill, or is it too soon for it? But as you've seen, I boxed and I won every single round against her. So just goes to show that I'm up there on world level, with the best, and I can compete and win.
Have you had discussions kind of about that Natasha fight? Is she up for it? I know I saw your thing on Sky today where it was like, we'll see what happens. And yeah, from your end, will it happen? I know you want it to happen.
Yeah, I believe it has to happen. Um, there's no choice. And I mean, if she retires, then no. But if she wants to box again, then it has to happen. The whole reason on this is, you know, I wanted to fight in December. She didn't want to fight me. I said I'd fight Ivana. Ivana didn't want to fight me. So, I've had to take my time and, say to, Sky and Boxer and my promotion as well. And, you know, I want them bigger fights. And world champion, for me, I can get it from both views, Being a world champion, I look at it as in, then if you're world champion, you should fight anyone. But also, I understand that, when you come in towards the end of your career, or, there's fights out there which are risky, people avoid people. And that's something that I kind of suppose I don't go on, because that's why I rate the Olympic gold medal so highly, because the best has to fight the best. In pro boxing, it's not always that way. Um, but I've made it, my point. That's why I'm going to Liverpool, because I've been told definitely that fight is next. And that's it, really.
In the months that preceded the world title win, obviously big homecoming, massive fight against McCaskill. Do you feel like there has been a pattern emerging with people rejecting you rather than going, yeah, I want to test myself against Lauren?
Yeah, I think it's been hard, I think. And that's why I've had such a frustrating year because it's been hard to make me, I suppose, I go on about chasing the belts. And I guess I've got to think otherwise on sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer rather than bump, bump, bump. Doesn't always work that way. I understand that now. But I think the main thing for me is just, I got to keep focus on myself, stay in my lane. And as long as I keep winning in time, then fights will come. And and that's it really. I think looking at this fight in December, I've got a good opponent in front of me. I've got to get through that first, and I intend to do that well. And then definitely, I want to box 3 or 4 times next year. We've got massive fights out there. Me, Jonas, me, Mia. There's big fights.
You talk about female defining fights. There's been a lot now, kind of. We've seen one this weekend. How important is it for you to not just etch your name into those world titles, but to be remembered for those great fights? You mentioned two there, but realistically, with how it's aligned with the dates, the same show, the Tasha one looks more likely. It would be massive, and it is one that crosses over, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Tasha, she's what she's done for, she's a great ambassador for not just women's boxing, but boxing in general. And, it'll be great. We're on the same platform with Sky and Boxer. It's an easy fight to make. And I suppose like these big fights as well turns, my name beating obviously the higher opposition in the women's welterweight division, like Tasha fight like that, cements my name, to go on and become even bigger. So that's what I want. I want to create a legacy and I want to do great things in the sport. We've seen it with Katie Taylor, and I want to do the same for Wales.
Was there a part of you that was disappointed that you couldn't build on that fan base that was in Cardiff? It felt like everyone come out for you that night, and it felt like it was a real launching pad to more nights there. Maybe move on to stadiums one day, build a real home there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest. If I was lying, if I'd say, "Oh, I'm a bit gutted, I'm not fighting in Cardiff," after coming back, off that in May, and I believe, you have to do that. Speaking to Gary Lockett, who's been there, with boxers and himself. You've seen it with Joe Calzaghe. You've got to box in Cardiff, for 2, 3 times. I was lucky enough to have my homecoming and sell out and have the crowd I did on my first time coming to Wales. I do that 2 or 3 times. Next, the fourth time, I'm boxing in Cardiff City Stadium. That's how big it can be, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it needs to, be momentum. I need to go back there a couple of times, keep that fan base and grow and build on it. And I've got great support in Wales. They support their own, they support their own people. We're a small nation, but we back our own. And you've seen that in May, the noise I had when I come out. It was phenomenal and the night that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Do you think your team boxer could persuade Tasha to make a little trip over to Cardiff?
Well, I doubt it's going to be in Cardiff, but I think that fight, no matter where it is, I'll sell a few tickets and I'll have a few Welsh fans in no matter what. So yeah, it's going to be it's a massive fight, massive fight for Britain, and I'm excited.
Last one I've got to ask you about Katie Taylor. You did mention her name there. Did you watch the fight over the weekend? What did you make of it?
I didn't, because
Okay.
I'm in bed early nights, win fights, right? I've seen clips of it. And I'm going to say Taylor. I know there's a lot of questions around Serrano and with, the head clashes and stuff like that, but I'm just going to go Taylor. Yeah, I've seen clips, but you can't argue, either way, really. They've both delivered on two great, amazing fights. And if there was a third one, no one would argue it. It delivers every time.
When you see nights like that, does it just make you more hungry to want those big nights, those big fights?
Yeah, definitely. That's why, I live and breathe the sport. I come to Sheffield every week, live the life Monday to Friday in Sheffield on my own. It's you know, it's you give everything to the sport, and that's something that people don't see as well. Being a pro, you're on your own, so that's how much I want it, you know. Definitely, I leave no stone unturned, and I give my all, and I've got. I'm only getting started. There's a lot more. I never stop learning. Got a great man in me and Rob McCracken, and you know I'm getting better and better each time, and I believe you know I can go on and be the best.
Excellent, Lauren. Thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. Tune in
Yeah.
December 14th, Liverpool. And yeah, I will speak to you on Fight Week. Thank you very much, Lauren.
Okay. Thank you.